I am very proud to introduce our keynote speaker, Kawennáhere Devery Jacobs. Most of you may know that she's been working on Reservation Dogs, which is a Emmy-nominated series. She also had several nominations through the Critics' Choice, and she's been directing and also producing. So welcome, Kawennáhere.
Tewatohnhi'saktha for introducing me and everybody for having me here today. It's nice to be back in the community and to see so many familiar faces and also so many faces of young people who I don't know yet. I've been asked to speak here today to you guys for this opportunity fair, and I just wanted to share a couple of words from my experience and, to share some of the things that I've been through and some of the lessons that I've taken away as an actor, as a filmmaker, as somebody who's freelance and entrepreneur. And so I really wasn't supposed to have the career that I do now. If I'd followed the path that was laid out for me, the one that I was expected to be on, my life would look entirely different, and I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, growing up, I had major theater kid energy. I was a gymnast, I was a member of the Turtle Island Theater Company, and I had constantly heard things like, oh, she thinks she's so good because she's an actor, or wow, what a weirdo. And I faced a lot of discouragement, and I was made fun of for the roles that I played. I was made to feel like I needed to be put back into my place. And isn't that what so many of us are taught? To fit in rather than break the mold. Don't do anything that's too weird, that might draw attention. Don't think too highly of yourself, and that you need to manage your expectations. But deep inside me, there was this small voice. It was a voice that would sometimes whisper, this is what I'm interested in, this is what I'm wanting to do. And listening to that voice, that small voice inside me, was the thing that changed everything. You're not really supposed to say this, but I always knew deep in my bones that I would succeed in film and TV. You're always expected to be like, I had no idea I could make it, I can't believe it. I can believe it because I envisioned it for myself, and it was something that I knew was a part of my journey. And it definitely didn't mean that I thought I was better than anybody. If anything, I had low self-esteem, and I'm still working on that. But despite the naysayers and despite the doubts around me, I just knew that I would be doing exactly the kind of work that I am now. And it wasn't easy. It was a really painful journey sometimes. But I think if I'd listened to the people around me instead of listening to myself, I never would have been able to achieve the things that I have. And thank goodness I didn't, because I've since realized that those voices were people who were also afraid to stand out, afraid to break the mold, and people who also had their own doubts and fears about what they were doing. The most important guiding force in my life is something that I wanted to share with you guys today. It's to get familiar with your own voice, to ask yourself, what excites you? What drives you? What makes you curious? And get to know that and trust it, because that voice, that'll never lead you astray. And so now I know some of you guys might be thinking like, well, I'm not an artist, I'm not in Hollywood, what the heck does this have to do with me? I really believe that you don't have to be in a creative field to be creative. Entrepreneurship in and of itself is creative. Seeing a need in the community and then filling that need is creative. Building a business, designing a program, or even just finding a new way to do something at work, that is creativity too. To be honest, I feel like acting and filmmaking are actually really similar to being an employee and being an entrepreneur. Hear me out. Acting is like being an employee, because you're using your skills to help someone else accomplish their goals. You're aiding someone in realizing their vision and then getting paid to do it. And filmmaking is like being an entrepreneur. You have to build the vision yourself, you have to create the opportunity, and then you have to inspire others to join you. Both require grit, both require passion, and both require listening to that inner voice and vision that you have for yourself. I've worked in an industry where I've been told that Indigenous stories just weren't relatable, that there were no audiences for our projects. I mean, Clearly, they couldn't be more wrong. The lack of opportunities was oppressive and sometimes straight up racist. But eventually, I shifted my perspective, and instead of looking at the lack of roles and films for me as an Indigenous person as a dead end, I started seeing it as an obstacle. It was, and continues to be, a gap in the industry, a place where stories like ours were missing and needed to be creative. My dream is to reach a point where Ngwekwe are everywhere in film and TV, that there's so many of us, I can't keep track, because right now, you look around and it's so tiny and it's a small community and everyone knows everyone, and if you didn't know them personally, then you have a friend who knew them. I don't want that. I want to find new people and be constantly discovering folks who I had no idea were even in the film industry and working. I want to see stories that are told by us, for us, and that invites non-Ngwekwe to understand who we are and how freaking badass we are. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but I just did. And so that's my personal dream, and the reason I'm sharing it here is because I want you guys to imagine your dreams just as boldly. Whatever field you're in, whether it's health, business, education, trades, or the arts, I want you guys to imagine your dream for yourself, but also a dream for Kahnawà and across the Confederacy. I mean, there's so much room for you guys to reimagine what's possible. Even being in this space and looking around at all the different organizations we have, it's unbelievable to see what we've managed to accomplish. You know, one of the most beautiful aspects of our community is that it is just that. It's a community. I mean, we have endured devastation, we've endured so much, but we have come out on the other side. Our families, our parents, our great-grandparents have all known each other since time immemorial. We show up for each other. We see it. Yet, sometimes we can hold each other back. Success can be met with scrutiny. People can doubt you or make you feel like you should stay in your own lane. Yet, in the same breath, the people who supported me most when I finally put myself out there was my community. Despite naysayers, everything I've been through has proven that you have an entire community in your corner, rooting for you, wanting you to succeed, and that in itself is a privilege. That is a head start. Putting yourself out there, whether it's as an artist, an entrepreneur, or stepping into a brand new position, takes bravery. It requires inventiveness. It's really vulnerable, and I want to commend each of you guys today here for showing up, for being willing to learn, to connect, to imagine what's possible for your future. Everybody's so afraid of looking weird or being perceived as cringe, and I can only encourage you to forget what people think, even if just for a minute, but to trust your gut and allow yourself to let your inner weirdo come out, because honestly, that's where creativity flows, and that's where new opportunities can come alive. I just got back to town the other day, and I'd agreed to do this keynote speech on a fairly last-minute notice, and I truly didn't know what the heck I was going to say, but as I had arrived here, I had a chance to do a tour of the new cultural arts building, where Kimberly Cross got to lead me through a tour. And I've been on the cabinet committee for a number of years and had seen the blueprints and the plans, and I've been a part of the fundraising efforts, but walking through it, I didn't expect to be so moved. I mean, the classrooms were gorgeous, the museum was unbelievable, but walking into the theater, more equipped and professional than most spaces on Broadway, I burst into tears. I couldn't help but get emotional. It was a proper theater here in Kahnawà. It really cut me deep, and I was so overwhelmed at the prospect of having something like this in our town, in our community, that I started crying. You can attest to it. I was a little embarrassed, but as a kid, I was so lucky to have Hattery Hall and to have an outlet for a medium that would become more than just a passion, but a career of mine and a mission. But now, to have a space like that meant just for creative Kahnawà. I mean, look around us, like, we are limitless. I mean, you're going to hear a lot from incredible people today and community members. You're going to hear from businesses, from artists, you're going to hear from organizations. And as you do, I encourage all of you to be open. and to receive the wisdom that they have to share. And always remember to lean on your community, because you're never walking this path alone. To listen to that inner voice. It'll guide you to places beyond what you can imagine, and it'll never, ever lead you astray. I just think, how lucky are we to have been born into a community that looks out for each other, that gives us purpose, that rides through to the end with us. Many people spend their whole life searching for this sense of belonging, but we already have it. And that is a foundation for success. And now, you guys just got to seize that opportunity. Nyawankoa.